I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
I want to be the very best.
You are.
Like no one ever was.
Until now.
That's how like everybody sings in this movie. Capture them as my real test. I forgot how bad '90s pop is.
But not Poke Pop. Because we're popping today with the first Pokemon movie, aptly titled Pokemon The First Movie. Mewtwo Strikes Back. So wait, I don't remember. Is it when it was in theaters? Was it called The First Movie, or was it called Mewtwo Strikes Back?
Both.
Yeah,
Called
yeah,
both.
it was called. Yeah, I remember. I had this on VHS when it came out. First came out.
I've got my
It's a little
DVD, which I sadly didn't put next to my desk to hold up because Alex is using the video footage today. Well, here's my copy.
Sorry.
Spiritually.
Oh, nobody pick your nose. I don't have a copy of it, Teddy, so it's all right.
Oh, shit.
Oh no!
I picked.
Nose pick.
This is different for us. We've never done a movie discourse before.
Yeah, we haven't. We watched. We had like a brief segment of time where we did little watch-alongs with like the community. We never actually devoted a podcast to a movie before.
So today, welcome to the new show, The Movie Mappers.
And if you want to get involved in potential future sporadic movie viewings, where can you go as a viewer, Alex?
Pop your popcorn, buy your movie ticket, and head on over to the Discord, where sometimes we watch movies at random. We never announce it. And also head on over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you can rate your favorite podcasts, like the Button Mappers. We're there.
5-star.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you.
What if I just did the whole podcast in that voice? You guys are like, Alex, what'd you think about this part of the movie? Well, I thought that Mewtwo was pretty fucking cool.
I think you were a member of Team Rocket.
I mean, I would like for you to do that.
No, I wouldn't. I could not. Like, I would get off the show, then my voice would be so hoarse.
I don't care about that.
Oh,
I just care.
thank you.
I just care about the quality of the show.
Thank you, Spencer.
And the listeners at home.
myself after this.
Yeah, I want to die. Hopefully, this show isn't more than an hour.
I think Teddy's trying to get me to do the YouTube plug. So make sure that you click play on. Not on the video, although you should do that as well, but also on the subscribe button if you haven't, because there's a lot more great videos that you can watch on our YouTube channel. And leave us a comment below of your review of our review of this movie. And click on that like button and we'll send you a package of popcorn. Alex will specifically package it and write your name on it.
Actually, Spencer, likes don't matter anymore. So if you really want to help the channel, just go watch another video. It's all about watch time now because YouTube changes the algorithm.
Oh, okay. Don't like it.
I mean, you can.
Make a
It doesn't
video
matter anymore.
response. Let us know your sexiest Pokemon and why it's Jinx.
Oh god, didn't we have a sexiest Pokemon bit like forever? Like not even forever ago.
Yeah.
Like a couple months ago.
Yeah. And we're about
Oh,
to
God.
live out our fantasies because this movie's got a pretty sexy Pokemon.
I didn't remember just how hot Mewtwo was. Like as soon as the movie starts, like holy shit! I took my pants right off.
Whoa!
I haven't seen an hourglass shape on a Pokemon like that before.
Yeah, those childbearing hips, man.
Gee, you can clone another one while you're at it.
Yeah, the scientists are like, how do we want to design this? Like, I know it's a cat, but let's like, what do we do?
Make him big as fuck.
Who said that?
How
That's
does that
genius. Promote that guy.
That's why all the scientists were in the back smiling after Mewtwo came out.
I just imagine it's like the head scientist was like, "Who said that?" And they're all quiet because like they think like someone's in trouble. He's like,
Yeah.
"Genius."
Why didn't I think of that?
It'd be great. Like Mewtwo's about to pop out of the glass. It's like Operation Thicker Mew, commence.
Operation Thick.
Why? Why have you created me so thick?
Why? Why am I so thick? These humans care not about my powers. Just my thickness. Well, okay, that was weird. Where do we want
I
to
could keep
start?
going on that thickness, but yeah, let's just go.
Well, let's start where it all began. The movie theaters in 1999. Did you guys see the first Pokemon movie in theaters?
Yes, sir.
Same.
No, I would have been a bit younger than you guys, so even if I did go see it in theaters, I wouldn't remember it.
This was at like the peak of the Pokemon fandom, at least mine. But I think in general, like it was like Pokemon fever was ridiculous, and of course you were gonna see that movie. Like there was just no way you weren't, because at the time it also had the promise. There was like a little bonus movie before that was probably on your DVD.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my. I mean, I just watched it on like YouTube or something, but. There was the promise that you were going to see next gen Pokemon with it too. So it's like
I remember that. You're talking about the Pikachu short, right?
yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
like,
it was on the VHS as well.
Mm.
It had like cool next gen Pokemon that I can't remember.
It's like Pikachu's Summer Vacation or something. Yeah, Meryl. That's the one.
Yeah, Marrow's on there.
I didn't rewatch it in preparation for this, but I do remember. I think it is on my DVD. The DVD also has a segment called like the origins of Mewtwo, when the scientists are actually like digging up fossils and Mew is kind of like toying around behind them, and then they find a fossil of Mew, and then it goes into how they use that to create Mewtwo.
If I was a couple years older, I imagine I would have gone to see it in theaters. I know I was into Pokemon at this time, and I got the movie. I don't remember being excited for a Pokemon movie until like the sequel, though. Till the next movie till 2000 came out, which is also a stupid name. But so but I remember watching this one a lot though on VHS whenever I was a kid, a little kiddo.
It came with the Mewtwo trading card when you went to the theaters. They gave you one. I think I still have mine.
That.
It's like a little bit different than the other trading cards. Like there's some like emblem that looks a little different, but a cool little signature collector thing. So it's a good way to pull kids into the theaters. I don't remember the experience too vividly. I was too young, but I remember going, and I think in looking back at this movie, there's important context to think that this was the first Pokemon venture on the big screen. So there's some big moments in here that probably translate a little better in theaters than they do at home, but are still powerful nonetheless.
Yes. I mean, and it's funny. Me and Teddy watched it the other day without the Pikachu short, which I remember it being a lot longer. I was on Spencer earlier. I remember the movie being a lot longer, and I imagine that's why that short was even there.
Yeah,
to just like make it, because like I don't know how long a thing needs to be to play in theaters. So I imagine like they were like, we need to like tack on like 25 minutes. to this movie.
Yeah, the time length was like 115 minutes. An hour 15 is like usually movies like minimum it's like hour 30. So
Yeah.
that's without the clip. Now, I think that's like a very Pixar-esque thing, right? I don't know if you chart back like, when they started doing that for like Disney films when you have like the lamp like and they have a little animation about it. So or another one that did that was The Incredibles, recently. They had some like little skit in front of there. So I don't know. It's a nice addition.
Well, I mean, back in the golden age of cinema, they used to play shorts before films, but that was back before animation and stuff like that was really on television. It's kind of harkens back to that era from that like mindset to me. It's like we'll play a short cartoon and then the story.
Hmm.
Well, I think that cartoon, I don't think it was really meant to be like a harkening back to those days or to even close to support like an artistic vision. If I remember correctly, it was specifically marketed that it would be in there and had new Pokemon. And that was, and it was like, there's going to be a little short with some new Pokemon in it. And at the time, Gold, I don't think Gold was out yet. I don't know.
No, this
Whatever,
was
they were new.
This is 99.
Okay. So people were freaking out trying to see this new Pokemon. So I assume it was pure marketing. Pure marketing.
In the movie itself too, Misty has a Togepi, and it was introduced in the first season as well as like one of those like next gen Pokemon. So there's usually these like Easter eggs in some ways. Now Togepi is kind of annoying. I don't really like it, but it's present in the film without too much significance. So even within the main film. The other thing too is Mew is kind of an anomaly in and of itself, and is kind of like the star of the show in some respects. Mew is not in the original 150 Pokédex, and you can't catch it naturally within the games. To get Mew, you had to bring your Game Boy to Nintendo, and they would like transfer it onto the Game Boy itself. And there were references in the first gen at Cinnabar Island of Mew, but it was always this thing that was a thing of myths and rumors. I know we've talked before about the truck in Vermilion City, which you could push with if you used strength, if you like saved your ticket and you died on the SS ship, and you can't actually do that. But it was always kind of like this thing of rumors. And to see Mew have such a central role in the film itself is kind of charming. It's kind of nice.
So you brought your Game Boy to Reggie, and he would fart on it.
This is pre-Reggie. This is when Reggie was like in high school. Would you meet Reggie in high school?
No, Reggie would have been still working at Pizza Hut.
Okay. Going back in the archives here.
Yeah, well, he like that's true. He actually did do the marketing for Pizza Hut. He did those PS1 demo discs. Anyway, so no, never mind. Reggie wouldn't have farted on the Game Boy.
Pizza Hut.
Who would have farted on the Game Boy?
Satoshi.
Somebody's farting on it.
Somebody's farting on that Game Boy.
The bug guy.
Somebody's okay, whatever. Yeah, I agree with the Mew thing. I remember the idea of Mew and Mewtwo being so impactful whenever I was younger. As like, whenever you're younger, like especially like legendary Pokemon, or like shit like that is so meaningful. Now it's like I don't give a shit. I was playing Sword and Shield. They were like, Zamazenta, whatever, blah blah blah, and I was like, I don't fucking care. It's like,
yeah,
whatever. But back then I was like, oh my god, it's Mew.
Well, like it's weird because in Pokemon Red and Blue, on the cover it was just like a Charizard and a Blastoise, and then maybe it was just literally the next phase or whatever. They're like, no, the stars of the games should be the legendaries. But I just felt it making the focus the legendaries is so like almost like out of touch.
Mm.
Like I'm more in touch with the first Pokemon I get, not the last that I might not even get at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like less of a surprise, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. You're
like,
kind of
I've been
ruining it.
seeing this dude for the last month, just like on the box of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Like right?
what they started doing is that wasn't a problem in Gen 1 because it didn't matter if you had red or blue, you could get all the legendaries. In Gen 2, that's when it became, this is the version you're going to get because this is the legendary you're going to get.
I see. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
It's still annoying, though. Like, it's artificial inflation. That's why now they do the double pack things. Oh, buy both versions so you can get both Pokemon.
Yeah, buy the same game twice with slightly different ROM.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the last Pokemon that came out, Sword and Shield. I actually had to like dig into the store just to find the single pack. They were putting the double pack in the eShop as like the only one that's in the what's new section. Like you had to go find it. It was so shady.
Scammers.
Yeah.
So the cool
kid.
thing about Mew, and like Mewtwo in the film is the strongest Pokemon. Like he's named that way as like previously it was Mew. Mew was the strongest Pokemon. But then Mewtwo has superseded it. And so within the film, there's this sort of narrative significance to clones and the idea that, cloning Pokemon is a means of making the most superior version. How did you guys feel about the narrative of the first Pokemon movie?
I love the Clone Wars. No, it felt, we watched it, and the whole time, for one, I just want to say that the voice acting is fucking terrible. But the moment we started watching it, I just I had this flashback to like watching anime as a kid because like it's the story with Mewtwo is so. Like, I understand, like, what they were trying to push with the character. It's like, oh, these humans don't care about me. They just care about my power, blah, blah, blah. But, like, the way that they frame it is so, like, it's so edgy. It's so, like, 90s edge. Like, there were so many lines in that first, like, section that the whole time me and Teddy were watching it, I was just, like, parsing out my own, like, lines that, like, Shadow the Hedgehog would say. It's like that edgy. It was like, oh my, no, this is, like, too much. To where I almost couldn't take the character seriously at all because of that.
What was it? My soft stir tofu stew or something when Brock was cooking. Have some of my soft stir tofu stew.
Just like Mewtwo, just like, these humans will never know my true power. Blah blah. It's like,
Yeah. Well, they went overboard and being like, by the way, the villain of this movie might actually be the good guy. And it's like I get it. Like he's been mistreated. I get it. He was created in a lab to be used by humans, and it's like, oh, okay, that's not fair. And he's like,
he hung out with Giovanni.
Yeah,
Giovanni,
he mistreated him too.
He took him to Wendy's, didn't get him a 4-piece nugget.
It's like, where are my nuggets?
Where are my chicken nuggets, Giovanni? You don't get any. You're just a Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, that's like a problem with a lot of animes is that their dialogue, especially like these ones where it's like a really like knockoff almost anime, like it barely even counts, is they don't really spend a lot of effort with like subtlety or anything. It's just like the characters will just shout their stance on everything and be like, we're just using you for your battle prowess. You'll never be your own creature.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's all exposition, man.
Yeah.
That's all anybody says in this kind of shit. The dialogue's always just exposition.
Yeah.
So there are two issues that come with the first Pokemon movie that shed a little bit of light on why it comes across as a little awkward. The first being that the American team, when they received the film, they received it completed, and they had to redub everything with the mouth movements. They couldn't reanimate it. So they had to say things that would match with the lip syncing. Now, the only times this is natural is when Mewtwo is narrating, because Mewtwo doesn't have a mouth. And so because he's psychic type, the dubbers didn't mind at all. The other thing is that when they had the voice actors come in to do the movie, they had them come in one at a time. So they'd have like Ash record all the lines for the entire movie, and then the next person would come and do it in conversation with the next. So it was completely unorganic, like especially for like the first person who went. And so in that respect, the first film has some of those like awkward feeling moments. I still kind of like some of the one-liners. I think they're funny. I think that the movie is still nostalgic in a sense, and I think this generation is probably one of the most ambitious in terms of storytelling. As you go forward in this series, it becomes far more pacified and far less interesting. The idea of scientists abusing and using Pokemon in order to, complete their nefarious deeds, and then one of them actually challenging that system is intriguing. Now, there's like the lawsuit or whatever. There's a line where Meowth says, the clones wonder when they're going to strike back. So, there's some intertextuality there, but I still think for the most part, I appreciate it for trying to be a little bit deeper than future iterations in the series that are just like to run and dry. We're all friends.
Well, and you
I
can
do
sort of
appreciate
feel you can sort of feel the impact of that. I mean, not only did Mewtwo become so popular that he's still in Smash, but also they would revisit this idea. There's been 40 billion Pokemon movies, but whenever they did the Detective Pikachu movie, they directly linked it with this film. I think because it is of the Pokemon like anime franchise, it is one of the more impactful things that they've done is the Mewtwo story. So, I don't know. I mean, I like the third movie with Entei, but I don't know shit about like most of the movies. It's like, I know I watched them. I know like there's one where they're like Venice or something. I couldn't tell you what happened. I'm just like, oh, Pokemon, whatever.
This is the only one I've ever seen. I've never seen any of the other Pokemon movies.
Considering as the first Pokemon movie is such a staple, it's filled with many moments that, as Alex had alluded to, are just simply unforgettable and kind of characterized in the culture, in the video game culture. What are some of your most nostalgic or memorable moments from the first Pokemon movie?
I'll give. I mean, there's one that I think we'll all mention, but there was a really funny line that Ash said. It was clearly written in America, but he said they're talking about Vikings, and like because Team Rocket, for reference, was like approaching them in a boat because they had to get to Mewtwo's kingdom or whatever by boat, and they were dressed up as Vikings, and then they were like, "Are there still Vikings?" And then Ash says, "Yeah, but most of them are in Minnesota." It's just like so stupid, but it's actually pretty genius.
It's great. I'm glad it made the cut.
Yeah, it's very rare that they reference that this is actually in like the world. Usually fantasy.
Line. I remember liking this movie a lot just because like Team Rocket does something. Like they don't really do anything, but they have like their own little story where they're like in the cloning area and stuff. And I remember the when they first cloned Meowth. That's like I don't know. That was a really cool moment whenever I was a kid, because it was like, whoa, they took like a piece of his DNA and made a whole new Pokemon. And it was like, what is this? And I don't know. It just felt like really mysterious whenever I was a kid. Now I'm just like, well, yeah, I mean, I've watched plenty of sci-fi movies, but
there's a very interesting footnote about Meowth. In translating Meowth from the Japanese version, even from the standard anime, he's considered more of a philosophical character than a goofball. So when you see him in Team Rocket, he kind of fits the characterization of like, oh, we're so dumb, we're gonna like fail at everything, and oh, I wonder what's wrong with Pikachu or whatever. But in the Japanese version, he's more of like a thinker. And so there's a scene in the movie that the directors almost cut out. It was when during the Clone Wars, where Meowth is talking to his clone, and they get ready to fight, but then they put their claws down, and then they start like pondering to each other. There's something going on there that's not very well translated in the American version, but it is kind of Easter egg in a sense to what's missed in the original version. Some of my favorite moments are just even the Pokemon themselves. Like, I don't remember seeing Dragonite in the anime at all. And then seeing him be like a passenger pigeon, like just delivering the mail in the very beginning. And then what's her name? Jessie just puts out her hand and just stops him. Like, I don't know.
She used like the frying pan. Yeah,
oh, that's right.
She used the frying pan to stop him.
You don't remember
the lighthouse
the
or
Dragonite?
something.
Yeah, it was like a huge Dragonite.
Yeah.
That's the only one I remember.
That's the only one too. But it was just cool to see him be like this speeding bullet and like come in full force. And that one he's kind of like just depressed and like, I don't want to see Dragonite like that. But that was cool. Seeing Gyarados, and Ash is like, wow, I hear it's really hard to train a Gyarados. And it's like, nah, what's your friend? It's all good. And so that was cool. Seeing Charizard actually somewhat listen to Ash was cool. And I don't know, the animation itself was pretty good overall. Of course, all the Mew moments are classic for me. And I mean, obviously there's like the big moment in the movie, of course, which we could talk about.
Plus, I mean, I know also as a kid, it was just cool seeing like the opening animation of Ash battling the random trainer, because like the movie, he does have better animation than the show. So just seeing that like opening battle and stuff as a kid, you were like, I wish the show just looked like this. This is cool. And then like they're playing that like cheesy off-tune remix of the theme song.
Yeah, I appreciate it for being different though. I'm but also for being a throwback too. Because apparently when they chose that song, they wanted to get the pull-in from people who already knew Pokemon and would recognize it. Like, oh yeah, we're here for the Pokemon movie. And so like those first 5 minutes are relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of the movie. It's partially due to it being built for the cinemas, because people would trickle into the movie maybe like a little bit late or something. But it's still a moment of celebration, and it's good to be there and kind of just experience, and especially as a Pokemon fan. But if not, it also kind of welcomes you into this universe.
Well, also, I think as we run through the movie, and we talked about how short the movie is, the movie kind of like rushes itself. That's one of the few moments that just kind of takes its time and has fun. Because the rest of the movie kind of goes.
In regards to the animation, I think I liked one of the things they seem to have done, which is have sort of a green screen effect throughout it, which they didn't really do in the show. Where you have like a really cool background, like I noticed it really well with the stars. They had like a space-looking background, and they did it a couple times, or like with the doors. But they would have like some kind of animated background, like with computer animation that's a little more advanced.
It was,
and then just overlay it in the front with the regular animation.
Some of that animation strategy was actually newly built specifically for this movie, so it's very apt that you pointed out the skies, because they hadn't used that previously. I do know what you're talking about, the doors in the arena, and like they kind of start to creak in. It's a cool moment as well.
Yeah, it was a nice little effects.
Mewtwo blasting off too, and like his armor kind of like collapsing off him. Classic moment. Ash walking out like through the smoke, with like a legion of Pokemon behind him. He's like got like the cool anime look. Like they really outdid themselves in some regards with some of the artistry.
So many characters walk through smoke in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of ridiculous.
I would love to see Brock walk through smoke.
Keep like a smoke counter. How many characters
he walks through...
like how many characters in the movie have a dramatic walking through smoke moment?
Scientist, maybe? Giovanni?
Scientist, yeah, Giovanni. I think Mewtwo does as well.
Okay.
And then I think the girl, when they first show up on the island, I think who was Nurse Joy or whatever, I think she does as well. She like walks into like the mist or whatever, the fog. So there's so many characters that come in through like these like obscured like points onto the screen. That by time Ash did it at the end, I even mentioned to Teddy, I was like, how many characters are going to do this?
maybe that's a thematic edition.
Maybe but it
Where
was
they're
very, very distracting.
a lot of the characters are finding themselves, coming out of the mist, coming into focus. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the mist.
You're
They're
welcome.
real mist walkers.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of mist, I want to talk about Misty. No, I don't. I want to talk about things in the movie that, I don't know, just seemed either out of place or awkward or weird. There's definitely, I don't know. I mean, there's good and bad with the first Pokemon movie. Some things are dramatic, some things that are laughable. What are some things that either had you raise an eyebrow or had you kind of like laughing at how ridiculous it was?
I know we alluded to it, so I'll just come out the gates and let's talk about that song.
That scene, that whole and that okay.
Can we
But
get
it
a
was a song
recap? Yeah. Everything
It was
leading
the
up
song.
to this. Like, this is like Mewtwo invites them out. He's basically destroying everyone's Pokemon. He then throws these unknown Pokeballs at them to like enslave them and then clone their hairs. And then, so all of the clone Pokemon come out on the battlefield, and then all of the regular Pokemon come back, and there's this huge buildup, like it's going to be a big battle. And then it starts going, brother, my brother, tell me what you're fighting for.
It's worth noting. It's like in acoustic guitar pop. It's like acoustic guitar pop, which is like the exact opposite music you would want for any stressful situation. Like, especially the climax of your movie.
So what
It's-
the commentators said, and this is the American film guy and also I guess one of the producers, is that they used the song to juxtapose the nature of the clone fighting the original. Now, obviously, it's not as intense as what the scene is, like this huge all-out Pokemon war. It was hilarious when it happened, but
I don't even think it works though, because even if it's trying to juxtapose it and be more emotional, then you cut this two fucking Psyducks slapping each other. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing emotional about it. It's like
Them-
and they gave me no time. This is a problem in this whole movie. They have nothing's paid off, nothing's rewarded. They built up nothing here. They were just like, here's the clones. Isn't it sad they're fighting now? And it was like, no, this just happened.
Well, not only did it just happen, but it happens in every episode of Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was another thing too that I wanted to bring up was the I guess the moral takeaway of the movie that Pokemon aren't just used to fight. Yeah, they are all the fucking time in the show, in the video game. That's all you do in the video game. You don't like hang out with them in a video game. You fucking capture them and you bring them out when you want to use their attacks. Like, what are you talking about? The movie?
In that scene, they said, because some additional context to it is Mewtwo cast like a spell or something, I can't remember, that prevented Pokemon from using like their moves.
so it's a Royal
That's why
Rumble. They're wrestling.
Yeah, that's why they're just slapping each other, which is like the exact opposite of what people would want to see when
Right.
they see a Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
But there's one of the characters, it might have been Brock, I don't care who it was, but he said like, Pokemon aren't supposed to fight this way. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, they're supposed to be lighting each other on fire and like shooting electricity at each other.
Oh yeah, this
They're
could have
supposed
been
to
one
be
of the coolest
massacred.
scenes, like just a chaotic scene of like thunderbolts and fire and everything. And you got like
Yep.
Pikachu slapping the other Pikachu. The only moments I think really did work emotionally did involve Pikachu.
Yeah.
Either when Pikachu was getting his hair pulled in the cloning machine and Ash like chases after him, or Pikachu's the last Pokemon escaping from Pokeball, or even the classic scene where Ash turns to stone. What is that?
Okay. I agree with you with one of those. I agree the cloning section, but okay, if you've I'm gonna preface it, if you've watched the anime before, that section works because you know their friendship. So whenever he's like Ash is fighting so hard to get him out of the cloning machine. That's a good moment. The turning to stone is fucking stupid. I I don't think that works. And also, where they don't give you any time with it either. They're just like, he's stone. Oh, now he's back. It's immediate. And I also don't understand what they're trying to get across with that. Are they saying if you cry, everything will be okay? What? Like, they're just like the Pokemon
Oh
start
my
crying.
god, you're so cold-hearted, Alex.
They start crying magical tears, which is not a thing. And then Ash gets turned back from stone, and I was like, "This is the dumbest fucking plot point." And again, it happens within like 3 minutes. Like they give you no time to even like sit there and like think about it. Like, what does this mean?
Alex was watching Pokemon the movie, where Mewtwo was created out of Mew and created an island and invited other Pokemon to come so he could capture them and clone them. And Alex says, tears that wake you from stone? Unrealistic. I don't buy it.
Well, he did. We watched it together. He's like, this isn't realistic.
I mean, even within the Pokemon canon, it's
yeah.
like, what is this? What
I gotta say, as much as I rag on this movie and I saw that part of it, I was kind of I didn't burst out into tears, but I was kind of moved by it.
It gets me every time. I know that when that scene comes, I'm gonna get emotional. And it's not the turn to stone of all the Pokemon gathering together. It's just Pikachu. It's just Pikachu going up to Ash when he's turned to stone and trying to use Thunder Shock. Because like you were saying, if you've seen the anime, you know that every time that Pikachu electrocutes Ash, especially in like the first 10 episodes, it's because he's like mad at him. And then Ash like, blah! And in this one, he's like trying to do it and nothing's happening. And it's incredibly sad. Even like Misty and Brock are watching like, you know. A funny thing, and this is a little trivia. Actually, you know what? You go first and I'll give you the trivia after.
Okay, I was just going to say really quickly, Alex, the tears mean when you use emotion and love each other, that perseveres through all. How could you not get that, you horrible monster? Yeah. All right, go ahead, Teddy.
Even still, they have you. This whole section takes place in 3 minutes. There's no time. There's no build up or payoff. It's just like, oh, feel emotion now, kids.
I get it. I mean, Dragon Quest V, like, you know, and I don't, if Alex ever plays this, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's a moment where somebody is turned to stone and it happens over a period of time. And like that duration does make it more felt. So I get where you're coming from. I don't know. I mean, maybe, and I guess I can suspend my disbelief because it's a Pokemon movie, but at the same time, it's a Pokemon movie that takes its premise seriously. And then also does some crazy stuff. So, like, I mean, it's kind of best of both worlds. The funny thing is, so I was listening to the commentators. They said they worked on this for months, and sometimes they would just, like, mix and match random dialogue just for fun. So, and Misty had a 2-word segment when Ash gets turned to stone. So one of the funniest things they'd said as a dub for Misty was, "My bike!"
I don't get that.
So, in the very first episode Pokemon, Ash steals Misty's bike, and throughout the series she always wants to get her bike back, so she's always mad at him. So when he gets turned to stone, the joke is, I'll never get my bike back.
Which was an emotional moment in the show where he's trying to get Pikachu to the Poke Center.
That is an emotion-filled episode. That is one of the best first episodes, like, of anything. Yeah,
which is actually had build up and payoff.
Yeah, in 20 minutes.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I am more critical than I should be, especially of this movie, because it is a movie and I look at things from a different perspective. I feel so. Because I'm coming out straight. I didn't like this movie. This movie sucks.
I think we can all agree on that.
Come on! It's beautiful in all its imperfections, savages.
I don't think it's good. And the problem is that I can't like remove myself from my fucking like filmmaking like standpoint. Like, what would I have done? I can't do that. I just can't do that. I can't step back and be like, I enjoy this. This is fun. I'm like, no, this is terrible. Like, this is bad. This pacing's bad. This part's bad. I wouldn't have done this. The story element's terrible.
Oh, I mean,
and that's
obviously, like the Mewtwo, like in that moment where Ash is turned to stone, then just being like, yes, Pokemon
Yeah.
and people really can love each other is stupid. Like, it's not a good resolution to that scene. I don't really care about that because I mean, it's an animated film. Now I get it. Like there are animated films that have gone to like make bigger statements. Like if you go into like a Miyazaki film or, you know, like the Ghost in the Shell film or Akira, like I get it. I get it. It's Pokemon. Like what do I expect?
we're not comparing this to Ghost in the Shell.
Won't we though? Like for a little bit.
Yeah, for a moment. Let's just entertain this thought.
Like clearly, I agree with Teddy. It's like the expectations for it need to be low because its audience is people who really don't give a shit about anime, right?
Yeah.
Like its audience was people that got into Pokemon. They aren't looking for the artistic, reaches that anime can get to. They're not looking for slick animation. Pokemon's famous for having like frozen scenes over and over again that don't move. So the expectation just has to be lower, and it was very, very clear that minimal effort was made on this movie. Like the goal is like, let's put out a movie that will make a shit ton of money in the theaters because it is Pokemon, and that's about where the production stopped on this movie.
My problems are primarily with when it's not with the narrative telling ability, it's with its reality to even the own Pokemon universe. The things that annoy me, and Alex knows because I kept joking about this. Oh, Ash is level 96 Squirtle. It uses Bubble Beam on freaking Machamp, and like Machamp's like, suddenly fainted. Like that doesn't make sense. Like Machamp just used freaking Seismic Toss, and Squirtle's fine. I wish that like some of those moments were a bit more like in tune with even the mechanics of the series.
I remember in the first Pokemon game when I unlocked Magic Tears, that can bring anybody back to life. That was crazy.
This TM48.
TM48 Magic Tears.
I forgot that happened.
We'll bring person back to life. Sorry, go ahead.
And there are moments like that bother me too. But I understand like it needs to be a little exaggerated because Ash is like the hero, and anime heroes are unstoppable forces to be reckoned with. They can pull tricks out of their ass, out of their ash. And I wish I could go back to being a kid and looking at it from that perspective, because I wouldn't be this salty old man. That's just like looking at I'm looking at the first Pokemon movie and trying to understand it from a filmmaking perspective, whenever the whole reason the movie exists is to sell you Pokemon cards and get kids into the theater. And I'm like, what? This isn't a well thought out artistic film. But like,
where are the arcs?
So that's more of my flaw than it is the movie's flaw.
Speaking of flaws, the movie does have some very notable ones. There is one Pokemon then that is in the segment Who's That Pokemon that is introduced when Jesse and James are naming Pokemon that are getting cloned in the moment. Do you know which one it was?
Oh my god. You're right. I don't remember, but I remember going like, what the fuck? Because I saw that and it was wrong. I don't remember what the Pokemon was. What was it?
On the virtual screen, because it kept changing to whatever shape of the Pokemon was going in. On the screen was Scyther, and they said, Alakazam!
Yes.
Yes.
So, the son of the sound editor is the one who caught this, and then the translator guys were like, we're just going to leave it in. One, so that it's an Easter egg for people who are listening after the fact, and two, because Team Rocket probably doesn't know every Pokemon, so why not let them get it wrong? And that was like the big blooper, was that they screwed that up.
Dad, you fucked up. That's not Alakazam. And I was like, I'm just gonna keep it in and say that it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that Pikachu did Thunder Shock or Thunderbolt on a group of enemies, and one of them was a rock Pokemon.
So Yeah, that makes sense too. And then also when Mewtwo casts the spell, so like no other Pokemon can use their moves, which was a line that was just written in because it had no context in the Japanese version. They just like suddenly all of the Pokemon were just Royal Rumble status for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
So they wrote in the line, "I'm gonna turn off all your spells." Only Pikachu is the one that has like thunderbolts flaring from its cheeks.
That's true. Yeah. So in the Japanese version, there was no prerequisite for why they were not using, their God-given talents at shooting, rockets out of their faces.
None.
There's just-
There was no reason for that. There was
There's
also
just-
no clear connection between Giovanni and the scientists or Mewtwo. So they had to write all of that in.
Yeah, Giovanni. I still don't even feel like that he really needed to be there. Like the whole section where he's training Mewtwo. I liked that section as a kid. I remember like being like, "Oh, it's so neat." But like now that I watched it, I was like, "Did they really need to like tie him in? Like they could have just had Mewtwo be abused by scientists, and that's his motive."
They had to pad their hour and 15-minute.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking. It's like the cynical adults, like, "Oh, they needed some more stuff to show."
Oh, there's that probably. This is also like a Frankenstein piece of work because it was done and then they had to match and mix voice acting to match the mouths. And so it's weird.
With the Giovanni piece, they clearly use bits from the show. So I think I remember some of those being in episodes of the show.
I think so too.
Yeah, there were scenes that were pulled directly from the show. I think the scene with Gary where he's like, they have the from the behind shot where he's like fighting Mewtwo or something. I don't know. That was intertextual in some regard. Mewtwo blasting off.
Team Rocket blasting off again. I will say though, I like the armor for Mewtwo. I wish like more Pokemon media like used that armor. I don't know, look neat. Like Pokemon with armor. I never thought like that's a cool idea, but like now like rewatching it, I was like I even told Teddy, I was like, I think they should like have that costume in Smash or something. That's cool.
Or like an
Yeah,
Ultra
it's pretty
Smash
neat.
or something.
Yeah, I was like, why wouldn't Pokemon wear armor? Like they're getting fucking shot in the face by needles and shit. Like, like
No, they can hold berries. That's their thing.
You can feed them
Where
curry,
they-
okay?
where do they hold the items? They don't have pockets.
You can play pet your Pikachu, okay?
Could you just imagine like Pikachu getting like hit with Onyx's tail or something? He smashes against the wall, and then he just like pulls some berries out of like his crotch, and like starts eating them. Like, oh, and then shakes his head. He's like, "I'm back in the game, bitch." Just like runs.
Or even better, Onyx like wheeling its tail to its mouth with a berry.
Yeah. I could eat too. Oh.
I don't know if the what do you think the implication of the clones? Like, they just kind of get rid of them after or no, he like takes them with him, right?
Yeah, they fly away.
And with
Which is
Mew.
hilarious. Which is fucking what is it? Teddy put it out the Ponyta.
Flying Rapidash.
Rapidash. That's what it was. Fucking flying Rapidash is hilarious.
It's just a flying like miniature. It looks great.
Okay, well, I get the like Mewtwo was cloned, so he wants to clone Pokemon and stuff and make them stronger. But like, I don't know if like that was like they were like these Pokemon aren't real Pokemon because they're cloned, or like these Pokemon aren't worthy of the other Pokemon because they're cloned. It's like I don't know. Like, aren't they still just Pokemon? They didn't do anything with that concept.
Yeah, maybe that was something that was lost in the translation.
Yeah.
Because it's clear like Team Rocket wanted to use that to make, the extra Pokemon that they could that way. But obviously they didn't get a hold of it.
Right.
I don't know. It's
Because if they're saying the clone Pokemon aren't real Pokemon, then that means Mewtwo isn't a real Pokemon. But after so I was just like, what is this?
Well, I think that they weren't. I think they were trying to create simulation Pokemon, but the problem was that they had a will and mind of their own, which is hence Mewtwo rebelling in the sense, and why he takes that legion of clones with him, and why he's even cloning them in the first place to say, like, you know, we are sentient beings and we are the superior ones. But in the end, he can't prove that because he goes off with Mew anyway. And he says, like, we can live in peace. And I think that's kind of where it closes. Not fully developed, but
Poke Heaven.
Clone Island. That's the weirdest part for me is Jesse and James and Meowth end up on that island like, I don't know how we got here, but we love it.
This is bad. Okay, that should not have been that line. That line should have been like, "What? How are we gonna get off this island?" But like instead, it was like, "We love it here." I was like, "Oh, okay." There's nothing there. Enjoy your rock in the middle of the sea.
I think we can all agree that the ending of this is just a big middle finger to everybody who spent their hour and 15 minutes watching it. It's just like, okay, and it never happened.
Yeah.
You know what the big middle
my
finger
God.
is like Britney Spears being the closing song in the credits.
Yeah.
It's like a song about marriage, and I'm like, what what?
Dude, you know, and there's so many moments, even if as a fan of the show at the time, there's so many moments that would have made sense. Like whenever Brock, whenever they're at the police place, whatever it was, and they're about to go across the sea, and they're like, we can't let anybody cross, whatever. And then they see the missing nurse, Joy, and Brock's like, who's this? She's so pretty. And I'm like, you've seen 50 of them.
Well, they do that
come
in the
on.
show anyway. That's a
that's
gag. Like
the
that's a
joke.
gag, yeah.
Yeah, but he always knows who Nurse Joy is, though. That's not like he's not like nice to meet you. Like he's like Nurse Joy, blah blah blah. And he always makes jokes about like wanting to marry Nurse Joy. It's like why would he not fucking know who that is? He's seen her face and talked about her a million times.
Well,
can't
I
see.
guarantee you rewatch. Okay, there's that. But if you rewatch the first season, like every time he comes to a new town, like he's just as enamored by the new Nurse Joyce. Like that's the Brock. That's the joke. And he is the first one to recognize her when they go to the island. So there is that.
That's true. But still, he always. I don't know.
It's a dumb joke.
It's just weird. Yeah. I don't think it works.
That's like me saying a Royal Rumble every time and getting it wrong.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was probably the closest to a Royal Rumble that we've gotten.
That's what I was going to
So,
say.
well-
Is like this was a legitimate use of the term.
Yeah,
And the difference is that Teddy keeps saying it. Eventually, it'll just be right.
It's true.
that's true.
Science.
So I don't know where we want to go from here.
You want to do a quick 2-minute review each of Pokemon The First Movie?
Sure. Let's go first.
I can go first. Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, is a movie for the fans, probably by some of the fans, and it's a very cheap attempt to make a lot of money, which it succeeded at. So, congratulations to the Pokemon Company. There's the only bit of emotion you'll get out of this is knowing who Ash is, and if you didn't know these characters, this movie would had no redeeming quality to it. But as it stands, it is a shallow attempt at emotion that works on a certain level for fans of the show. So that's my review of Pokemon the movie.
I see Pokemon The First Movie as a celebration of the first generation, several years into the first generation and leading up to the second. It's kind of at an interesting intermediary point that probably isn't too significantly tied to the core narrative and is very oddly Frankenstein together, but has a lot of tributes within its short time that fans will be able to enjoy. I think there are several moments that are successes and do successfully manage to tug at your heartstrings, while others may leave you laughing with how cringy they are. Overall, it is kind of a nostalgic piece for me, and I don't really mind if it's not like the perfect masterpiece of storytelling, because at the end of the day, it's a celebration, and it's just nice to see the Pokemon and the people get along.
Pokemon the First Movie is a great movie for kids that like the Pokemon anime, and a terrible movie for anybody that took them to the movie theater. So that's and maybe I am being a little too critical on this movie, but as an adult who watches a lot of movies, I can't escape that. I wish I could go back to being a kid and sing the magic like I did as a kid of watching this movie. Because I don't think it's a good movie, but I think that if you have kids, or if you were into the Pokemon show as a kid, it is worth a watch just for some of that nostalgia factor of the original Pokemon anime, because even some of the newer seasons that I've tried to watch a little bit of, I didn't feel that nostalgia, and I still felt that watching this movie. Even if I don't like it, I still felt some of that joy of watching it as a kid.
Well said. Let us know in the comments below. What's your review of the first movie and our reviews? Whose do you side with the most and why? Now it's time
Brother, my brother. Sorry.
for Did You Know?
I thought we did.
Pokemon trivia.
Did you know?
So, there's one Pokemon within the movie that has the same voice internationally in every rendition. Which Pokemon is it?
Do you
want me to say it?
Yeah.
I would guess Pikachu or Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff was in the movie. Togepi.
Pikachu.
Mew.
No, it was Pikachu. Spencer would have got the point if he didn't say or Jigglypuff.
Okay, sorry. I must have missed the movie part, because in my head I was like, I thought it meant just across the entire series, but I guess it makes sense. It's obviously just the movie.
Okay. Yeah, all right, so just within the movie. All right, so I'll give you half a point. So, Misty also voices a Pokemon in the movie. Which Pokemon is it?
Machop.
You don't want to win.
Onyx.
Vulpix?
Wigglytuff.
Wigglytuff.
Go to Wigglytuff.
You just Wigglytuff.
Brock, the voice of Brock, also voices another character in the film and the series. Who is it?
A character, not Pokemon?
I guess I'll give you that. Not Pokemon.
Okay. Giovanni.
The water dude. I don't know his name.
The water dude.
The guy with the water type
The
Pokemon?
water. The water
Yeah.
boy with Adam Sandler.
James in Team Rocket.
James. Oh, okay.
Wait, he does James?
Mm-hmm. According to the commentators.
Oh.
Speaking of which, the director, I think he has maybe 2 lines in the movie. I'll give you the point if you could tell me where his line comes up.
You want me to give you a specific line from the Pokemon movie? that I
No,
think the
just tell me
director
the location in the movie when
Is
it
he
comes
the
up.
stupid scientist with the stupid hair?
Oh, God, I want to say that now. He is at the when they're talking about this. No, that was Officer Jenny. He is the guy that Ash fights at the beginning, the Pokemon trainer. That's what I'll say.
You should have stuck with the first one. He was at the shelter paging Officer Jenny.
He was Officer Jenny.
No, he was like,
I-
now
okay.
paging Officer Jenny.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, interesting. All
So
right.
he wasn't the dumb scientist.
Who
hair.
is his favorite Pokemon from within the film? This will be the closer question. Spencer has half a point. Alex has none. This will be the victory point.
I don't want him.
This is your opportunity.
Favorite Pokemon. Ninetales.
Who is the director's favorite Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
Pikachu.
Psyduck.
I knew it.
That's crazy because that's my favorite Pokemon.
Cool. Well, you have something in
Good
common.
boy.
And the winner of
I'm gonna go
this
cut my wrist.
this episode of Did You Know Pokemon, Spencer.
You keep that trophy, boy.
Half a
Look,
point.
Alex, you put up a tough fight.
Oh,
we
I
had
know.
our back and forth here.
didn't
But in
fight.
the end of the day, I just stood tall a little bit better than you did.
fought, and I sat down and had a sandwich.
You earned this one,
I-
Spencer.
Absolutely, it was hard fought. Both of us, broke a sweat here. Blood was shed, but I take my throne as the winner.
Take your throne, Spencer!
That's amazing. Can we clip that?
You are the Pokemon movie master!
Pokemon the movie master.
Well, I want to be the very best.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do like Palpatine, like mixed with like a fucking, I don't know, like a vampire or something. I don't know what I was doing there. Anyway.
Can you do the Viking sound?
No, like, yeah, Jesse, like doing like the Viking voice.
Yeah.
I don't know. We are the Vikings. Something like that, right? We are Vikings going across the sea.
Yeah, you're good with the Vikings.
I liked how Meowth was on the front of the ship.
Yeah, that was a good touch.
Mm.
That's cute.
That's a funny moment. See, I like something. Meowth on the front of the ship. Put that in the box. Alex likes Meowth on the front of the ship.
I'm trying to get the guy's name because it's not the Japanese director; it's the American one. I don't know. Maybe I could put that in the comments.
It's still crazy that it's the highest grossing anime film of all time in the United States.
I think it's that crazy.
The American edit of the film contains CGI effects that were not included in the Japanese cut. Like these include the realistic looking clouds, which are very distracting, by the way. I pointed that out too. we were watching. Those clouds
Liked
were
them.
Those clouds are very distracting.
I think Michael Haney is the guy.
The producers and director jokingly stated that they hoped the male purse would be brought back into fashion as Dragonite is seen wearing one.
Okay.
Okay. The theme song is not the same tune as the TV show, but it contains all the same words. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Riveting.
Yeah, riveting. IMDb's got some fun facts here, guys. The Pokemon's film with the score available. What? The only Pokemon film with the score available for download on iTunes. Okay. If you have iTunes, there you go.
Featuring such classics as Justin Timberlake.
Oh, the Japanese version was released by Toho? Wow.
That's why it had the Godzilla looking kanji in the beginning.
Mm. Neat. I like Toho. On July 8th, 1999, a complete version was aired on Japanese television in addition to an added prologue. The updated version includes new animation and CGI effects. We didn't get that. We get to watch it on the TVs.
We should one day maybe do an episode on the new rendition of this and then like compare.
Oh, you mean like the weird 3D one they did? Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Let us know in the comments below. Did you enjoy today's episode? Would you like to see us review more Pokemon movies and give you more Pokemon facts?
Would you like to see us?
Do you like seeing us? Do you
Which
like
Pokemon?
us?
Tell us in the comments, which Pokemon do we look like? Everyone make a face so they can compare. All right, that's good.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Boba Fett. He was in that movie.
You want to sign off, Spencer?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your
Fun? Oh, I thought we said I hit stop recording.
Oh, I thought you had a sign off. Do you want to sign off?
Keep on catching them all, folks.
Tell me what we're fighting for. Is it love or so much more?
Button the mappers. Tell me what's a map out.
Is it Shrek or so much more?
Whoa.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them Button Mappers.